shocking updates are emerging from the world of the FIA, and they're shaking the very foundation of modern Formula One. Mohammed Ben Sulayem has just dropped a bombshell regarding what many consider the sport's most sacred regulation, the budget cap. The current FIA president is openly questioning the need for any financial ceiling at all, arguing that it's become more of a burden than a benefit, a source of endless headaches not just for teams, but for the FIA itself. But here's the real kicker. If we return to the Wild West of unlimited spending, where teams throw money around like confetti, will racing actually get better? Or is this just a last-ditch gambit from a president on thin ice, trying to claw back relevance and secure his position before the tide turns against him? There's no sugarcoating it. Ben Sulayem finds himself cornered. With mounting political pressure inside the FIA and rival figures eyeing his job, he's pulling out all the stops to regain favor with influential team bosses and high-profile drivers. Whether it's too little too late remains to be seen, but clearly, he's not going down without a fight. His latest pitch? Ditching the budget cap. According to him, the rule has created more logistical nightmares than it's solved. He's suggesting that if all stakeholders agree, the cap could be scrapped entirely. It's a proposal that would certainly delight the sport's wealthiest teams, Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, who'd love nothing more than to break out the blank checkbooks and go full throttle on R&D and performance upgrades without worrying about audits or penalties. But let's not forget, the introduction of the spending cap was a game-changer. It narrowed the field, leveled the playing ground, and turned the midfield into genuine contenders. It also transformed F1 teams into financially viable operations, profitable, streamlined, and attractive to corporate sponsors on a global scale. Without that structure, the risk is that the sport slides back into an era of imbalance, where only the biggest wallets win. Still, during the Miami Grand Prix, Ben Sulayem doubled down, claiming the $140 million cap was simply too restrictive and causing friction everywhere. But his critics are quick to note that it's exactly that financial constraint that has given the sport the competitive and commercial stability it needed for a new generation of fans and investors. One thing's for sure, this isn't just a debate about dollars, it's about the future of Formula One. And Ben Sulayem just lit the fuse. Here's a rewritten and expanded version of your text in English, using synonyms and a different structure, while keeping the original meaning intact. While addressing the ongoing controversy, Ben Sulayem didn't hold back. I'm reviewing the cost cap situation, and frankly, it's turning into a massive headache for the FIA, he admitted. So why keep it? Honestly, I just don't see the point. His words, though seemingly general, came amid a very specific storm, one triggered by Red Bull's formal protest over the legality of McLaren's MCL 39. Christian Horner has been throwing all sorts of accusations at the Woking-based team, raising questions about potential irregularities, including their rumored water cooling system for tire management. According to Pirelli, such a concept is unworkable. They claim it's technically impossible to inject water through the valve system. And yet, Ben Sulayem, surprisingly, stood behind Zak Brown, lending his support. What makes this situation even more convoluted is the financial implication of such protests. Under the current framework, the cost of filing a protest is deducted from a team's budget cap unless the allegations prove valid. Only then is the fee refunded. This creates yet another layer of budgetary tension that Ben Sulayem sees as unnecessary. But make no mistake, these statements are not landing in a vacuum. The FIA president is in a politically fragile moment. He's facing stiff competition for his position, and one of the most prominent names being floated as a potential replacement is none other than Carlos Sainz Sr., the father of F1 driver Carlos Sainz Jr., a legend in rally and motorsport circles. Sainz Sr. believes he's well-positioned to step up due to his deep understanding of the sport and the internal instability currently plaguing the FIA. Speaking candidly about the possibility of assuming the presidency, Sainz Sr. remarked, "It's something that has been on my mind for a while. Not as a serious plan, until recently. But now, I believe the timing could be right. I'm confident in my ability to lead and build a strong team that will give something back to a sport that's given so much to me." I've collected valuable experience over the decades, and I'm certain I could bring fresh perspectives to help grow both motorsport and the automotive world. One concern that quickly emerged was whether his son's ongoing F1 career could become a conflict of interest. However, Sainz Sr. swiftly dismissed such speculation, stating firmly, "People know me well enough to understand that Carlos's presence in F1 won't be an obstacle. I would immediately step back from any involvement in his racing career. He's a grown man. He's been in Formula One for 10 years now. We've already discussed that if I move forward with this, the nature of our relationship will evolve. The FIA is a serious institution. There will be no overlap or favoritism." Meanwhile, pressure is mounting on Ben Sulayem from every direction. He's fully aware that the situation could spiral out of control at any moment. That might explain why, suddenly, he's showing signs of openness to change, particularly when it comes to Appendix B of the FIA regulations. While feedback from F1 drivers has been circulating internally for several months, it's only now, with his presidency under real threat, that he's beginning to take those concerns seriously. Reflecting on this new willingness to adapt, Ben Sulayem commented, "After receiving constructive input from drivers across our 7 FIA World Championships, I'm open to revisiting Appendix B. As a former rally driver, I probably understand the physical and mental demands better than most. That's why I believe their voices must be part of the decision-making process." But whether this late pivot will be enough to secure his position remains to be seen. The political winds inside the FIA are shifting, and fast. Here's a rewritten version of your text in English, using synonyms and a different structure while keeping the message and tone intact, with an extended narrative flow suitable for a video or article format. Appendix B is one of the cornerstones of the International Sporting Code, a foundational element intended to keep motorsport fair and accessible to everyone involved in the FIA community. It's a framework built to uphold transparency and consistency, but like any rulebook crafted by human hands, it's not immune to scrutiny or revision. Mohammed Ben Sulayem has long maintained that improving regulations is a continuous process, one he deeply believes in and places at the center of the FIA's mission. Yet, in practice, his latest comments may have only added fuel to an already raging fire. Tensions between the FIA president and the drivers haven't gone unnoticed, and many believe his latest remarks won't do anything to ease the strain. One of his most vocal critics? None other than Lewis Hamilton. And for good reason. Back in 2022, the FIA's controversial jewelry ban caused a major stir, a rule that many saw as petty and targeted. Hamilton pushed back hard, arriving at the Miami Grand Prix decked out in every piece of jewelry he could find, sending a very public message of defiance. But that wasn't the end of it. The now infamous unfounded investigation into Susie Wolff, widely condemned as a gross overreach, proved to be the last straw. Hamilton didn't mince words. "I've never respected him," he stated bluntly about Ben Sulayem. "At the end of the day, we don't have any real power at the table, and that needs to change. Too many decisions are being made by people who've never been in our shoes. Drivers bring a crucial perspective, and that's all we've ever tried to offer." George Russell, who serves as director of the Grand Prix Drivers Association, has echoed similar frustrations. His stance is even more cutting. "We've been promised a lot," he said. "But we haven't seen those promises materialize. Until we do, we remain cautious." He added, "We don't need more words, we need action. Everyone says they're considering things. So are we. But unless real changes are implemented, the talking means nothing." This atmosphere of distrust is only worsening the outlook for Ben Sulayem. The mounting pressure isn't just coming from the paddock, it's building from within the FIA itself. High-profile figures who once stood by the president are now distancing themselves. Reid, former vice president of sport, caused ripples across the motorsport world with his departure. Reid later revealed that he saw a deep, structural breakdown in the way governance was being handled inside the organization. Natalie Robyn, who served as the FIA's first-ever CEO, also recently broke her silence after 18 months, confirming what many feared: the FIA is suffering from ongoing structural dysfunction. According to Robyn, professional standards were routinely ignored, and key stakeholders were often cut out of major decision-making processes. These are not small criticisms. They point to a deeper crisis at the heart of the FIA's leadership. And it doesn't stop there. Former race director Tim Mayer also took aim at Ben Sulayem's approach to discipline, particularly regarding language used by drivers. Mayer claims that the president personally pushed for harsher penalties for bad language, without discussing the matter with other senior officials. Apparently, Ben Sulayem believed that swearing should be penalized, period, and evidence suggests he wasn't shy about instructing his staff to act on this. While technically, vulgar language is prohibited under FIA guidelines, critics argue that chasing after drivers for dropping an occasional expletive does little to uphold the integrity of the sport. All of this raises a crucial point. Right now, the budget cap debate is likely the least of Ben Sulayem's problems. His main challenge lies in convincing the FIA board that he still has the trust and leadership qualities needed to carry the sport forward. That's easier said than done, especially with growing momentum behind a potential successor, Sainz Sr. The legendary rally driver has quietly gained traction as a candidate to lead the FIA. Backed by years of experience and a deep understanding of the racing world, Sainz Sr. believes the time may finally be right. "This idea has been in the back of my mind for a while," he admitted. "Not as something concrete, until recently. Now I think it might be the perfect time in my life to take that leap. I believe I can form an excellent team and help give back to the sport that's shaped my life." Naturally, some have raised concerns about a possible conflict of interest, given that his son, Sainz Jr., is an active F1 driver. But Sainz Sr. wasted no time clearing the air. "People know who I am. I have my own track record, and Carlos is not a kid anymore. He's been racing in Formula One for over 10 years. If I take on this challenge, our relationship will evolve. Of course, I'll step away from any involvement in his career. The FIA is a serious institution. There will be no conflict." With the pressure mounting and the cracks in the foundation becoming harder to ignore, it's clear the leadership of the FIA is standing at a crossroads. Will Ben Sulayem manage to hold on, or is the motorsport world preparing for a changing of the guard? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and once you've done that, check out the video currently popping up on your screen. It might just change how you see what's happening behind the scenes in F1.